All right, today we are talking about Enneagram Twos and just a little more depth on what the experience of being an Enneagram Two is and the experience of being in relationship with an Enneagram Two. So talk to us about our Enneagram Twos.
Yes. And didn't you say your partner is a
My
two?
partner is an Enneagram Two. Yes.
Okay.
Strong two.
Yes, they can help you to death. Um,
Yes.
my my best friend is a two. So they're called the giver or the helper or the
Mm-hmm.
supporter.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like offering themselves or
Mm-hmm.
gifts.
Yes.
And they're really motivated by they want to receive that attention
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
from having met the need of another person.
Yes.
So really, they're motivated by this really strong belief that they must be needed in
Yes.
order to be loved.
Yes.
And also it's this sense of needing to give to get.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the type two, they have this really like strong sense that if they can be indispensable, then they will
Mm-hmm.
secure their place in the lives of
Yes.
others and in community. So this
Yes.
is one of those telltale things. Typically, if you ask a two or somebody you suspect is a two,
Mm-hmm.
if they how do they feel about, or what does it feel like to be indispensable?
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of other types will recoil at that question. Be like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
no, you got to be able to live without me, honey.
Yeah.
Twos are like, indispensable,
Yes. That's my
right? So
highest goal.
they want to know that you need them.
Yeah.
And so the attention of the type two is really focused on the needs and desires of others.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ways we describe twos is they're seductive, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
see that as a bad thing. Like, we can have a negative connotation to seduction, but
Mm-hmm.
how does someone seduce you? They know what you like.
Mm-hmm.
They can anticipate your needs before you even know you
Yeah.
have them. They greet you at the door with your robe and your slippers and your
Mm-hmm.
favorite glass of wine, and they're like, let me take care of you, baby. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that is a two. They're
Yeah.
gonna know what you like. And they are going to remember it, and they're going to meet that need. And so
Yeah.
they're really able to focus on the feelings of others and kind of alter themselves,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a three, but different,
Yeah.
in that they're
Yeah.
meeting the needs,
Yeah.
and can be the supporter that you need.
Yeah.
But then the flip side of that is that they have
Yes.
very little ability to understand and identify their own needs.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, it's interesting because I think at first glance, when you look at all the Enneagram types, type two feels like the nice one. Like, shouldn't we all want to be
Yeah.
this one? This one seems generous. Like, the hallmark is generosity and help.
Yeah.
But there is that shadow side of,
Yeah.
as you said, really not being able to identify their own needs. And I think the tendency
Yeah.
towards codependency for type twos is very high. But
That's
then
right.
also that shadow side of, the generosity is not always altruistic. It's often a
That's right.
boomerang generosity. It's well, I'm doing this for it to come back to me.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's where that's where the negative energy can set in,
Mm-hmm.
the resentment,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Like, because it's so natural for them to know what other people need, they can get settled into this, like, well, why don't you know what I need? It's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
thinking, well, everybody else should know, or at least, like, I've been helping you so much.
Yeah.
Why can't you see
Yeah.
that you should at least offer me a cup of tea at the end of the day?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
there's this expectation, and it's like, again, the way Enneagram builds empathy is
Mm-hmm.
like understanding not everybody thinks like you.
Yeah. Right.
But they can really come to resent this because,
Yeah.
in fact, what's underlying, we're not getting into all of this because it's a whole nother thing, but the vice typically
Mm-hmm.
of the two is pride, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can take care of other people.
Yes.
I don't need anybody,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm the one who knows. I know better
Yeah.
than you what you need,
Yeah.
and I will take care of you. And I'm not like you.
Mm-hmm.
You need help.
Yes.
I don't need help.
Yes.
Right. And so when they can actually see that is pride,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just being generous.
Yes.
But that
Right.
they can actually learn to give
Mm-hmm.
from a place of just wanting to give,
Yeah.
of being equal with someone, of not being better than them and knowing what they need,
Yeah.
that other people do know what they need. And you can wait until they ask instead
Yeah.
of going around them.
Yeah.
That's when they can give from a pure place.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they can give from a place of freedom.
Yes.
Which is a totally different place than trying to earn your spot in
Yes.
somebody's life.
100%. What does self-care look like for an Enneagram 2?
Oh, wow. They might just get mad that you even suggest that.
Right. How dare you?
First of all, right.
What
like,
even is self-care?
Right. Am I not taking care of you well enough? Why would you suggest that I need to go alone and sit down somewhere?
Yeah.
Right. It can actually be a triggering conversation to have with the two.
Yeah.
So tread lightly. But truly, it is about identifying what they need,
Mm-hmm.
allowing themselves to have their own needs, and not be so focused on fixing other people or fixing a relationship with another person, right? But like, I'm okay by myself.
Yes.
And I'm okay to have these needs. Mm-hmm. And other people will be okay without me doing things for them.
Yes.
And so what does it look like to have
without doing
I can be loved without it. I can have a relationship with someone without doing things for them.
Yeah.
And so, it's self-care for them becomes identifying those things and actually looking at those relationships and seeing if what they're built on.
Yeah.
And then, resourcing themselves in a way and resourcing themselves with what they have in their community in a way that is reciprocal instead of one way.
Yeah, absolutely. And how about for those of us who are in partnerships or friendships with an Enneagram 2, how do we best love them?
Yeah. Well, my two bestie, we actually call each other Bab, badass bestie.
Love it.
And so I see her in caregiving mode all the time.
Yeah.
And how she's always just doing for everybody else. And so I will just check on her. I will call her. I will, sometimes I will just say, hey, I'm bringing over wine and a pizza. Like, what do you want me to bring you? Or what time can I bring it over?
Yeah.
Right. Like, so, kind of letting them be on the receiving end at times and sometimes trying, like, anticipating their needs in the way they anticipate ours. But doing so with respect. Like, a lot of times it's just talking because they spend so much time giving to other people and kind of anticipating the needs of other people. They don't slow down to talk. To actually acknowledge that they have feelings. They're really connected to the feelings of other people, but not as connected to their own feelings until resentment comes up. And then they can be real connected to that resentment. So, talking to them or allowing space for them to talk about other feelings as they're having them in real time can really feel like a big gift to them over and above doing something for them. Just listening to them can feel really special to a type 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that point is so well made that, for your two friends, like, make sure that you're the one who is pursuing sometimes.
Yes.
Because they can get into that dance of they're always the pursuer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody's always asking them for help because they will do it. Yeah. And they're usually quite proficient.
Yes.
Like they're really, really good at helping. And so offering to help them is like, it helps them feel like they're seen.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, next up, we're going to hear from an Enneagram 2.